Hey guys, YouTube Warren here. Alright, and now here I am as I continue on with these reviews of these obscure 2000s Disney movies. And next up, this is going to be a review for The Princess Diaries. So I know that this movie isn't really as obscure as like a lot of the other movies I'm going to be reviewing in these reviews. Like it's not really as obscure as the movies that I have already talked about. And as I continue on, like there are like movies that really this movie isn't as obscure as either. So this is like one of the ones that really like haven't fallen into like as much of such obscurity and is still like kind of still talked about. But yeah, when you do like compare it to like a lot of other movies, like this movie still it really doesn't get mentioned as much as like a lot of the other ones and like ones that were like coming out like like prior to this one, like there were like more that came out, and even like after this, like there were like movies that were like mentioned more than this one. So yeah, so still like while it does still like get some recognition now, it still really isn't as talked about as like a lot of other Disney movies. So yeah, and yeah, so this movie, oh gosh, I mean, this was a movie that really wasn't really a big of a big hit with critics. Yeah, critics really like didn't really think too fondly of this movie, but audiences overall they did seem to like this movie. Like on Rotten Tomatoes, like on the tomato meter, this film is only has like a score of 48%. But yeah, the audience score is relatively good. It has like a 68% audience score. So yeah, so this is a movie that does kind of like fit into like that list that I made years ago when I counted down like 10 movies that critics don't like but audiences do. Yeah, this is kind of like another one of those films that really does kind of like fall into that category. So yeah, so this film was more popular among audiences than it was critics. Yeah, a lot of critics really haven't thought too fondly of this film. Even like Nostalgia Critic or Doug Walker, yeah, he's just like said that he really didn't like this film. And in his review, he just really did say like how predictable this story really is, and how there's really no originality to it, and it's just not very well written. And yeah, well, and yeah, what he did say is true. Yeah, the film really is just like it really is just like that cheesy, predictable movie where you see like a teenager really uh who's really not popular amongst like like her peers and everything. But then yeah, then she does like find out who she really is, and then like she doesn't want anything to do with it. But then yeah, then over time like she does like learn about who she is and what she really does have to do. And over time, she does become more popular and more willing to accept at that position. And then yeah, then it eventually does lead to her getting into like these conflicts. It's like this life is interfering with like her personal life, and yeah, she just goes through like all these conflicts, and yeah, and we see like all these cliched characters like the best friend, the love interest who like is a good one, and another one that's a bad one. And she's interested in the bad one, but the good one's interested in her, but she doesn't know. And yeah, there's also like a bully in there, and yeah, all this other stuff. So yeah, so it really does like have that cliched story, like pretty much all around it. And yeah, the story just is like very predictable. How you really do like know like everything basically that is going to happen in the story. So yeah, so the story just it is like just very predictable and just unoriginal. Like we have seen this story done like a whole bunch of times. Yeah, but does that necessarily make it a bad film? Well, personally, I really don't think it really is as bad as some critics do like to put it. While it really like it's not really like that great of a film. Like I would be lying if I said like I said that like I didn't enjoy some stuff in this film. Like I remember, like I actually did see this movie when it came out in the theaters. Yeah, my sisters really were wanting to see this film, and I figured, I could go see it. So yeah, so I did go to see it, and overall, I mean, while there really wasn't like a whole lot like to it, like I said, it was just like very cliched and all those other stuff. Like, there's nothing that really does truly stand out about the film. Like, I like it wasn't really something that I really absolutely hated. Like, there was some stuff in the film that I did enjoy about it. Yeah, because yeah, there were like some scenes in the film that I actually honestly did think were kind of funny and stuff. Especially like the scenes where like Mia in the film, like she is like trying to like learn how to be a princess, and she's like very rusty at it, and yeah, and she just like really just, like runs into like some hijinks throughout the film, and I do like find like some of the stuff that happened and to her in the film kind of funny. Yeah, yeah, and there were like some other like moments that I did like enjoy throughout the film. Like some of the performances in the film that I did think were, uh, they weren't like really like that well written. Like yeah, like what Doug Walker said, like the roles in this film really are not written well, but a lot of the performances they are like still unique. Like a lot of the actors in this film really are trying to really give it their all to really like make do with their roles and really like make them really stand out and just really give their roles like a certain charm to them. Yeah, because in the film you do have like cast members like you have Julie Andrews, you have Anne Hathaway, there's Hector Elizondo, Robert Schwartzman, and Heather Matazaro, Mandy Moore, Caroline Goodall, all and yeah, and overall like they are like overall like the performances in the film like the actors are at least like trying to do as well as they can with them and when they even when they do like have nothing to really work with. So at least like the actors really are like really trying to make do with their roles and really like give their roles a certain charm to them to at least like like do as well as they can with them. So yeah. So I think that the performances in the film like they are fine, like especially like with Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway. Like while their roles really are not written well, they still do fine. I do think that they are fine with their performances. Like I said, they really don't have anything to work with, and what they do pull out, like like I think they really are trying to do really the best they can to make do with roles that really aren't written well, but they really are like trying to do their best with what they have. So I think they do just fine in the film. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like I said, there are like just yeah, the story is really just like so padded and it is predictable and yeah, you do have just like everything that really like people do complain about. Like they do have like valid points on what it is. Like the film is like directed by Gary Marshall. And yeah, with Gary Marshall, like with like what Doug Walker talked about in his review, how like he really doesn't really care for Gary Marshall's films just because like what he really does for his films just it's not really like something that like he could get into and yeah and I can kind of like understand what he's saying about that. Yeah, he was saying that how like Gary Marshall is kind of like the equivalent to females what Vin Diesel is for males. And yeah, I guess I can kind of understand that comparison. So yeah, for a lot of like the like grown men, this film probably isn't really for them. But yeah, I really do feel like since it is like centered around Princess, the film really is like geared more to like a younger female audience. So yeah, so I think that like for younger girls, like for like any like teenage or preteen girls like this is probably a film that they will probably like enjoy a lot more than like the male audience would and stuff. But yeah, yeah. Even like if you really are like are really forgiving for like everything that this film like its unoriginality and predictability. Like if you are forgiving, you can get some enjoyment out of the film. But yeah, if like you really do get annoyed by just how predictable these kind of stories are, then yeah, this film really yeah, this probably isn't really your film. But me personally, like I said, there were some scenes I did enjoy. Like I didn't like there was some stuff in the film that I liked. Like I said, I do think the performances are fine. And I do find some scenes funny, like when Mia gets into hijinks, and even like in the film, you do have a Larry Miller as like the hairdresser, and yeah, he's pretty funny. Just Larry Miller just like seems to have like this special talent where like even like when he's like in some really like in films that really are not written well, like this one and of the next movie that I'm going to talk about. Yeah, he just really just, he can like really steal the show. Like he just his line deliveries and just that's like the way he talks. Yeah, he's just like can really get be pretty funny with his performances. So yeah, so Larry Miller, I do think is like one of the positive aspects of the movie and stuff. So yeah, like I said, there's not really like a whole lot to really recommend about this film. There is like some enjoyment to be had about it, like the scenes that I do find funny, like the stuff with like Mia, like in gym class, for example. Like pretty much every time you see her in gym class, she gets into like some hijinks where she like messes up and stuff. And even like when as she's like learning like how to become a princess, there are like some stuff where she is like very rusty, and some of that stuff is pretty funny. Yeah. So so overall, like there is some funny stuff in the film, but yeah, like I said, just this story, like it's just been done like a whole uh, load of times, and there's probably, and yeah, a lot of people probably will get tired of like seeing the story really done, and they probably already have up to the point where they've seen this movie. So yeah, so if you really are just tired of the story being done, then yeah, this film is probably not going to be your kind of film. But yeah, like I said, if you are like a younger girl and you really are like into these kinds of stories, then and even if you are like very forgiving of like all the unoriginality and stuff, then I'm sure that you can probably get some enjoyment out of the film. Me personally, like I don't know if I can really go so far to really say that this is a good film, but at least I can say like I do like understand like the audience that this film is really geared towards, and I do still enjoy some scenes from it. So yeah. So I guess I would probably give the film around like I guess I would range around like I don't know 2.5 stars out of 4. Now, of course, like I guess one of the reasons why I'm really like kind of really not really being so harsh on this film as a lot of other people are is because I mean with this its sequel, it showed like how much dumber that it could get and just like how much worse this film really could have been. So yeah, so at least like it has the sequel to really make it look a whole lot better. Yeah, but like I told you guys like before, I'm not going to be talking about any sequels to these films I'm covering this month because I already got like a lot of films to go over. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave sequels out of here, and plus, yeah, just like with what, like especially nostalgia critics Doug Walker has really said about the sequel, there's really just like nothing else I can add to it. So yeah, so I'm not gonna be covering the sequel. All right, so yeah, so I think I've like gone on about like what the the criticisms that this film gets and like what I really feel about it. So yeah, so let me just go over the story for the film. So yeah, the film opens up with a San Francisco teenager Mia Thermopolis, and yeah, and as the film starts off, you just see how she's just very shy and unpopular and socially awkward and just yeah, she's just like really like not like a very popular girl, and she really doesn't have any friends. And aside from like her best friend Lily and her brother Michael, yeah, and you just see like how much of a nerd that she really is. Like she has glasses and curly hair and all that other stuff. So yeah, yeah. So as the film starts, you just see like how very unpopular and nerdy she is. Yeah, yeah, and it shows that she lives with her mother and like a refurbished firehouse, and her mother is like a painter who really paints in kind of like a unique ways. Yeah, yeah, and it shows how like Mia is really like a really is like isn't good at public speaking. It shows that like she has a fear here about like speaking in public, and when she even like when she is like talking like in a debate, she just like ends up just getting nauseous and running off. Yeah, and it shows that there's also this like a bad boy that Mia like really has a thing for, or Josh Bryant, and she like Mia's always like teased by Josh's girlfriend, Lana Thomas. Yeah, yeah, but it shows that like I said, Mia is his only friends are really like her best friend Lily and Lily's brother Michael, and yeah, and it shows like throughout the film that Michael really does like have feelings for Mia and wants to date her, but of course like I was talking about with Mia wanting to like date Josh, and she really doesn't have any clue that Michael has feelings for her. Yeah, so we get like that stuff going on. Yeah. But then eventually, then Mia finds out that her grandmother Clarice has come to San Francisco, and she never really visits. So yeah, but yeah, her grandmother was asking Mia to visit her. So then yeah, then one day, then Mia then paid a visit to her grandmother, and it was kind of funny. Like the first day that Mia came to her grandmother's residence, where she was staying while she was in San Francisco, like that there was like a pathway to walk up to the door, and Mia like started stepping on the grass, and then there was this recording screaming, "Get off the grass!" and saying it like in different languages as well. So I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, yeah. Then yeah, Mia then ended up, and then eventually ended up meeting her grandmother Clarice. Yeah, and then yeah, Clarice then was just like explaining to Mia that like her father and or is now dead, and yeah, she revealed to Mia that Clarice is actually like a the queen of the kingdom Genovia, and she told Mia that her father was the prince to the throne, but that now that he's dead, Mia is actually now how refined princess of Genovia, and yeah, Mia like was in a disbelief if that she was a princess, and then her grandmother was explaining to her that uh, she she could one day rule the kingdom, but yeah, Mia just like was in just like so much disbelief, and just like with the life she already lived, she just really didn't want any part of being a princess or anything. But then over time, then Mia's mother and grandmother then were able to convince her to at least attend princess lessons with her grandmother, and she wouldn't actually have to make her official decision on whether or not she'll take the throne until the Genovian Independence Day ball, which was in 3 weeks. So then, yeah, then it showed how the changes that Mia was now receiving due to her being princess. She was now given a limo with her chauffeur Joe, who was actually Clarice's head of security. He and a confidant, and it showed that over time, Joe really did become a father figure to Mia, as he was really giving her some advice and really trying to help her really understand the ways of the princess. So yeah, yeah, and then then it just showed over time, Mia was just learning some of the princess, how to really be a princess and how to act and everything. And yeah, and then there was one of the lessons that Clarice was giving me. It was about how her posture should be as a princess, and it was kind of funny. She was showing her how to walk and not really to slump over, and Mia was really over exaggerating it, which I thought was kind of funny. And then when she was trying to show her how to sit, it was that she was trying to tell her not to cross her legs, and just try to tuck an ankle behind the other, and Mia just ended up falling off the chair as she tried to do it. So yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, then there was also a funny bit at one point where as Mia was trying to change for another uh session of lessons with her grandmother, as she was in the back of the limo, she just kept falling over out of the seats, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, and I just feel Joe is probably the most relatable character in this movie, because at one point, when well during this part, it was Mia was just falling all over the place as she was trying to change. Yeah, Joe said, "I've never put on pantyhose before, but it sounds dangerous." So yeah, so very relatable. Yeah. Yeah, and then like I said, just like over time, like as Mia was attending these princess lessons, like as it started out, like she was like very rusty with the whole thing, like with the stuff that I just mentioned. But yeah, but over time, she really did start to really get into the swing of like her of how she should be as a princess. Yeah, but it also showed that like due to like everything that like she was learning about being a princess, it really was really affecting her personal life with like Lily and Michael and all those other people. Yeah. Well, yeah. Then one day after Mia ended up like receiving a makeover from Clarice's hairdresser Paulo. After like yeah, Paulo just like gave Mia like a total makeover. It was kind of funny. Like as he was trying to brush her hair, like just her hair was just really so thick the brush got stuck and ended up breaking. Yeah, and then then Paulo then really just like completely like he like changed Mia up. Like yeah, he ended up like breaking her glasses, which was kind of funny. He, like it was like a retaliation for his brush breaking. Yeah, and then he just like ended up like plucking her eyebrows, and then it also showed how he straightened her hair and all this other stuff. And then when you finally had the big reveal, it was funny. Like Paulo like was holding up like two different pictures of Mia, just like giving a very blank expression, like pre makeover, and then he finally then like pulled them back, revealing what he did to Mia now, and it showed how like Mia was like turned into like pretty, like she was actually like looked a lot better. Like she like her hair was like totally straightened. Yeah, she had a nice smile. Yeah, just looking much more attractive. Yeah, and at first like me initially like just didn't really know like what people were really gonna think about it. And then the next day when she picked up a Lily and Michael to take to school, like Michael was like very turned on by Mia's new look, but Lily just was not on board with it. Like she like Lily was like really like having some jealousy for Mia right here. Just the whole ride to school, like Lily was really just like complaining about like everything Mia's been doing, just feeling like she sold her out. And at one point, like it even showed like Mia was just so upset she actually there was a tear rolling down her face. Yeah. Then finally, Mia just was finally just like told Lily to just shut up, and then she finally like told Lily the truth that she was a princess. So they did it in a funny way where we didn't actually hear her doing it. Like she pulled Lily behind a tree to tell her, and we just like heard a leaf blower going on. Yeah. Then it showed like in class, like Mia's other classmates were really like getting on her case too with like her straight hair and all that. But Lily ended up sticking up for her and just like got everybody else to back off. Yeah. Yeah. And then yeah, but then like over time, like when Mia told Lily to that the truth, she really did like swear Lily to secrecy. But then like eventually like it was shown that like word spread out to like pretty much the media and Mia's whole school of who she really was. And it was revealed that like Paulo was the one that broke the word to everybody. Yeah. Then after that, then Mia like ended up getting like pursued by like just the press and the paparazzi relentlessly. It's like she couldn't get any privacy. Yeah. Then then and Mia then like attended like the the state dinner, which like her grandmother and a lot of like other like of her royal security and all the like all like everybody aligned with like her grandma and just like the whole like Genovian party attended as well, and it was pretty funny there too. Like Mia was just like was causing like a whole bunch of hijinks at the dinner. Like she ended up accidentally setting a guy's sleeve on fire, and she ended up like breaking a glass at one point. And one thing I found extremely funny was like at one point like everybody was like served this special type of ice cream, and Mia like took like a big spoonful of it, and then she just like then like it was just like really like just was really like cold and everything for her, or that like she just like was just talking very muffly with the ice cream in her mouth, and like the couple like sitting next to her like they like did the same thing to really help Mia not be embarrassed, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Then eventually like it wound up where like Mia, like as she would like reach under the table to grab something, like she ended up like tripping one of the caterers, and yeah, then just it caused like a whole bunch of hijinks. Yeah, but yeah, Clarice then just like admitted to Mia later on that she actually found it endearing, and then over time, then like just she felt that she should actually like try to like spend some quality time with Mia rather than just always teaching her these princess lessons. So then yeah, then it showed Mia and Clarice just like going out spending some time together, and yeah, they drove in like the Mustang that Mia really wanted. Like she like was always like referring to like this Mustang as her baby, and it even like showed like her going to like the shop it was kept in where Michael actually worked in, and yeah, she just like really wanted the Mustang. So actually, she like ended up like driving the Mustang with Clarice all through town, and yeah, there was like a funny scene in right here where like as Mia was like going uphill, like I guess like the car wasn't powerful enough and ended up rolling back downhill, crashing into a bus. And at first, like the police really were like giving me a ticket for driving without a license and all this. And as they were going to take me downtown, like Corey stepped in to get me out of the situation. It was really just like knighting like the police officer and the bus driver and everything, and it really did like get me out of the predicament. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, then as Mia like continued to like grow in popularity due to like the publicity of like her being revealed as a princess, then finally Josh finally invited Mia out to a beach party with him, which Mia accepted. But at the same time, like Mia also ended up like making plans to actually go on the Lily's talk show that she had like that night, and also like she made plans to go watch Michael actually rehearse with the band that he was in. So yeah, Mia ended up like ditching both of them to go to the beach party with Josh. Yeah, but yeah, that night as like Mia was getting ready, like Mia's mother actually pointed out to her that like before this whole princess business started, Josh didn't even have any interest in Mia at all. So she was really trying to assure him that it was only because of like her princess fame that he's doing this. But Mia just like wasn't listening to it. And then yeah, Mia then attended the beach party, and everything went well at first. But eventually, just as everything got out of control when media members ended up arriving that actually were like tipped off by Lana. Then yeah, then eventually then like as the Mia and Josh were surrounded by the media, then Josh then just like kissed Mia in front of the press for fame, and then yeah, then after that, then Mia ended up just like slapping Josh and ditching him, knowing what his intentions really were at this point. Then yeah, Lana and two of her friends ended up like trying to well, it seemed that they were actually like trying to get at Mia away from the media. They like brought her like clothes for her to change into inside of a changing tent. And but then yeah, then they as Mia went into the tent, then they brought media members along, and then they ended up removing the tent, and it like showed a Mia half naked, and then yeah, Mia was just like just humiliated in front of everybody with the press like taking pictures of her like that. But then yeah, Mia's gym teacher ended up breaking it up, and yeah, then just took Mia off. Oh, and I haven't even really talked about like the stuff that I was mentioning at the start, where I said like I found the stuff with like Mia and her gym class funny. Like throughout the film, like it showed Mia and her gym class how she really wasn't very good. Like there was one point like as she was playing a softball in gym, like it showed like the teacher was like at bat. Well, yeah, she was like in the batting stance. Yeah, and Mia was the catcher. And when she got the ball, as she attempted to throw it back to the catcher, like she ended up just like throwing the ball right into the coach's head. It just bounced off her head, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, and then there was another point where Mia was like Mia was the soccer goalie, and then yeah, there were just like a whole bunch of balls thrown at her, and yeah, Mia just like wasn't blocking anything. So I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah. Then and after like the photos of Mia like at the beach party, you were actually like printed in the paper. Clarice like saw the paper with the photos and just found them as inappropriate, and she was really just really admonishing Mia for or how she handled it and all that stuff, and saying that she probably should um renounce the title. But then then Joe ended up then just reminding Clarice that Mia is still only a teenager, and she really didn't know how to like actually handle it how a princess should. Yeah, and he also told Clarice that she was handling it as a queen would, but that as a grandmother, she was too hard on her granddaughter. Yeah, yeah. And then the next day at school, uh, Mia tried apologizing to Lily and Michael, and she also ended up inviting the both of them to the Genovian Independence Ball, where she will reveal her decision on whether or not she'll accept the duties of a princess. And then we finally did have the scene where Mia did get revenge on Lana. She humiliated her as Lana was like in a cheerleading outfit and really just was really trying to make fun of Mia. Mia then just smeared some ice cream on the cheerleader outfit, and it was just like in front of like a whole flock of students. And then all the students were like all like very pleased with what Mia did, and even the teachers were very amused as well, and they didn't even intervene because they knew that Lana deserved what she got. Yeah, yeah. Then and later on, it then showed that Clarice then apologized to Mia for scolding her, and then just but she did say that Mia would still have to publicly make her decision for the throne at the ball. And after like what everything that Clarice like just said to Mia, telling her like how being like royalty is actually a job. Like Mia then was just like very nervous and frightened by the prospect like of what she had to do. That she was contemplating running away. She tried to actually pack some stuff up and take her cat Fat Louie to Colorado. Yeah, but then after like she opened up a diary that Clarice gave her earlier on, she then discovered like a letter from her father, and he was just it showed like her father really just saying like what the being the princess really does mean, and how like he felt the same way and all this other stuff, and just saying how he did care about uh, um her mother, because earlier on it was like talked about like how Mia's parents did love each other, but they divorced to pursue their own passions, with her father remaining in Genovia to eventually become the king, with her mom returning to America with Mia to offer her a normal childhood. And here, Mia's father was like talking about like how he did love her mother, and they really did care for each other, and all that. So after everything like she heard from her father, and it even like showed like cutaway showing like her father writing the letter. And interestingly enough, like when it showed like her father writing the letter, like the like when it showed her father was actually played by Anne Hathaway's real life father. So that was kind of interesting, though. Yeah, the voiceover, like when you hear the father talking as Mia's reading the letter, that's actually the voice of Renee Auberjonas. So yeah. But then, after Mia read the letter, then that is what then caused her to just bail on that trip and actually attend the ball. Oh yeah, and so Mia tried to take her Mustang to the ball because she told Clarice earlier on was like telling her that she was going to send Joe to pick her up, but Mia like told her that like she was just going to have her mother take her. But then Joe and Mia's mother like heard like different stories of how Joe was gonna pick her up and Mia's mom was gonna bring her. So after that, then Joe then just like rushed after Mia, and Mia like ended up like taking her Mustang, but it was while it was raining, so Mia was just like getting really wet inside of the car. But then as she was trying to drive, the car then eventually just ended up malfunctioning. And, but then eventually Joe ended up retrieving Mia and bringing her to the ball. Yeah, and then they finally arrived, and then as Clarice was actually preparing to actually announce that Mia wasn't there to accept it, and she wouldn't be taking the throne. Then Mia then arrived time, and then as Mia then was making a speech about who she feels that she really was, yeah, it eventually led to Mia then finally announcing that she accepts the role as the Princess of Genovia. Yeah. Yeah. Then Mia then was officially crowned the princess, and then later on as Mia and Clarice entered the ballroom, they started dancing, and Mia was dancing with Michael. Michael, yeah. Then the two of them then just walked outside, and yeah, Mia then just told Michael the reason that she chose him was because he actually did see her when she was invisible, referring to when she was the nerd that she was before the transformation and the makeover. Yeah. Then it then they ended up kissing, and Mia ended up lighting up the entire garden area outside. Yeah. Yeah. Then, as it just showed everybody in the ballroom dancing, then and we then heard Mia just Mia's voice as she was writing a passage in her diary as she was then now flying to Genovia, saying how uh, her mother is moving over to Genovia with her, and Lily and Michael are going to be spending the summer over there and that they're moving into a royal palace. Yeah. Yes, yeah. And then, then the last thing we see is it shows me in the plane writing in her diary, and the last line we hear is Joe telling Mia to look out the window, and he says, "Welcome to Genovia," and then it just shows an overhead spin in view of the palace that Mia would be living in, and that's how the movie ended. So yeah, so like I said, this movie, yeah, it definitely does have its issues. It is very unoriginal and cliched and predictable and all that stuff, and it's not very well written and all that other stuff. But like I said, I really don't think it really is as bad as some people really make it out to be. There is some enjoyment to be had in this movie. There are some funny scenes. And while the roles are really not written well, the performances are fine, and yeah, there really isn't anything to really stand out about this film. But yeah, it's not horrible. So, like I said, I give the film 2.5 stars out of 4. So, like I said, I know this movie is really geared towards a younger female audience. So yeah, so I'm sure they'll get more enjoyment out of the film than male audiences would and stuff. But yeah, and even if you are forgiving of the predictability and the unoriginality and all that stuff, then maybe you may get some enjoyment out of the film. This may be a film that you could probably watch. But yeah, if you're not, if you are just tired of the story and cliches, then yeah, then this is probably a film that you can skip over watching. So yeah, so that's my take on it. So yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. Alright, so this does it for my review of The Princess Diaries. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.